Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I got a few DC updates for you, including shows and the movies. The topics I'm going to cover includes CW has premiered Swamp Thing. I wonder how that did. Ruby Rose talks a little bit, maybe even explains a little bit more why she left Batwoman. And also there seems to be a new logo design change for Superman and Lois. And then finally, Patty Jenkins actually talks about Wonder Woman 1984, whether or not it will be going to streaming and in theaters. Also, there's a little bit about the Suicide Squad novelization, and David Ayer comments about how accurate that thing is. And Zack Snyder's Justice League. There may be an update on the additional photography after all. But before all that, I have to thank the members of the Ping Pong Flix Show family. Thank you so much for joining the Ping Pong Flix Show. You guys and girls are the lifeline of the Ping Pong Flix Show. I hope you enjoy the exclusive access videos so far. And thank you so much for supporting my channel and supporting this endeavor, this journey into getting you daily DC contents for shows, movies, and video games. Also, just a reminder, if we reach 100 members, there will be a random prize drawing with awesome DC content, merchandise, and Ping Pong Flix merchandise to the random prize drawing winner for the 100 members. And also, if we reach 15,000 subscribers, we're definitely going to have another random prize drawing for the subscribers and anybody who comment on that 15,000 subscriber video. So please hit the like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell so that we can continue this journey through DC together. First things first is Swamp Thing scores impressive CW debut. This is coming from Heroic Hollywood. Heroic Hollywood had this to say. Swamp Thing received lots of praise when the show first arrived on DC Universe as part of the streaming service's original library. However, the series was canceled after one episode because of budget issues. The show still managed to debut its entire first season on DC Universe, and many are still hoping the series makes a return, with some recent news being a step in the right direction. Despite the show's cancellation, it was announced that the first season would be airing on the CW this fall to make up for the network's sparse TV lineup due to COVID-19. Swamp Thing has now debuted on the CW, and according to TV Line, the series earned some impressive ratings as it gave the network's 8 o'clock hour its largest audience since May 19th, DC Stargirl, and the 90-minute period its best audience since February 4th. So that's amazing. I think I'm really happy that it had an impressive CW debut. Yes, it didn't go on HBO Max, and just judging how if it's successful on CW, there'd definitely be a budget for them to continue on over on the CW, and then for Swamp Thing fans, we'll definitely get a second season. But like they said, there's budget issues for the first season, so expect maybe the quality won't be as great as the first season when it gets to the second season, and of course, it's probably going to be censored. I haven't checked out the censored version of CW's Swamp Thing yet, but once I check it out, I'll let you know how my thoughts are on that. Now, I know Batwoman was had a very controversial first season, and it's a lot of it due to Ruby Rose, but also the story and the content as well. And there was a lot of questions on why did Ruby Rose leave the series? So Ruby Rose actually talks more about her decision to leave Batwoman. This is coming from comicbookmovie.com. Ruby Rose was a guest on Sirius XM's The Jess Cagle Show to promote her new movie, The Doorman, and the subject of her shocking decision to walk away from Batwoman understandably came up. There have been rumblings that the actress didn't enjoy the demanding schedule that came with playing the Scarlet Knight, and that her attitude on set became problematic for everyone involved. That's just online scuttlebutt, of course, and Rose elaborates on what actually happened. It wasn't that, the actress said when asked about whether her neck injury played into her decision. I mean, that definitely made going back to work so quickly tricky. They really accommodated trying to help me out the best they could. Going back so early, we wanted to obviously meet the release date of the show. I think what played a bigger part was more. we got shut down early. We didn't get to finish the first season, which is such a shame, especially for a first season show. We all kind of thought about where we were and so did Warner Brothers and Greg Berlanti, and we were discussing the show. And we sort of mutually agreed that probably what was best for the show at the time was they go in a different direction and I go in a different direction. I do believe that that's what was best for the show, Rose said of her decision to hang up her cape and cowl. And I think that everything we set out to do, we accomplished. And I feel like as far as Kate's story, it's kind of made sense how now that handing over the mantle to somebody else will be a very sort of creative process for the producers and for the show. And then for myself, of course, saying goodbye to that character is sad, but I'm also excited for everything else that's coming up. And so that was Ruby Rose's comment about why she left. There, as like I said, it's hard to escape the feeling that there's probably more to the situation than meets the eye, but chances are we'll probably never get that story now that she's gone. Javicia Leslie is now, Batwoman, and they're starting to film right now. They've actually started. Batwoman and Riverdale, as reported by DC Prime TV, are back in production today. So best of luck to her. Best of luck to the new Batwoman series, and hopefully it gains new audiences and actually change people's minds. But I personally have only watched one episode of the first Batwoman, and so I'm eager to catch up on it, and I'll let you know my thoughts as the second season starts going to production. Now, there's a new CW show that's coming up, and that is Superman and Lois. This is the Superman and Lois current logo for it. But apparently, for some other reason, they actually kind of changed the logo just a little bit. This is the newest logo here. I don't know if you can actually tell a difference. It doesn't make much of a difference, as you see here, and I click on here. Yes, it's a little bit more modern. It's a little bit more skinnier. Why did they make the change? I have no idea, but they added the symbol in there as well, which looks pretty cool. Also for the Lois Lane version as well. There's nothing more about Superman and Lois. I think they're going to production already. All we have is Tyler Hoechlin spending time with his on-set sons, and that's it. That's all we have. Really looking forward to the actual suit. And I'm thinking maybe the first few episodes will have him the crisis, the crossover suit. But like the director and the producer have said, that this suit is not the suit he's going to get in Superman and Lois. This suit was only meant for, temporary fittings for the crossover events. So I'm expecting that the new suit, like I said before, Superman and Lois, his new suit will probably fit better and will probably be a little bit more permanent, and maybe hopefully make him a look bigger and bulkier than he currently is. And I think that would be pretty, a good thing for Superman fans all over. Like I said, I'm willing to take a shot at this, and I'm really eager to see how this show goes. And now on to the movies. The movie that's supposed to be coming out this year is Wonder Woman 1984. There was this blog or this little article that went out today claiming they have sources, said that Wonder Woman 1984 will go direct to streaming and that it will be released in theaters and streaming platforms on Christmas Day worldwide. They don't cite who those sources are, but it has gone out. It got picked up we got this covered and other sites as well and other conversations as well. And I don't know if this is true, but I guess it'll be a great time for one person to tell us for sure what's going to happen with Wonder Woman 1984, and that is Patty Jenkins. So Patty Jenkins reaffirms that Wonder Woman 1984 will be released in theaters. In this tweet right here, she says, correct, direct to streaming is not even being discussed. We are still 100% behind the theatrical experience for Wonder Woman 1984 and supporting our beloved theater business. Now, when you look at this, and it's kind of interesting where she said correct. I would thought she said, unless she read it wrong and didn't type in correctly, I would say it should say incorrect. Direct to streaming is not even being discussed. But the correct part of it is that they are still 100% going to release this on Christmas Day worldwide. So, and and we gotta wait and see. I mean, Christmas is not that far away. It's a couple months from now. Oh my God, we're already in October. Holy cow! But it's gonna depend on the studio. I mean, if the studio thinks that they could make a lot more money by doing streaming and theatrical, like the article had claimed, then that would be pretty good. But although the direct to streaming VOD price would probably be pretty high, I'm thinking like $30+. Like I said, I would pay $60 to $70 just to get it on streaming, but that is kind of expensive for a lot of people. So I'm on the side that I don't know. I'm like a lot of people in the industry right now. All these different bloggers are thinking that it's definitely not going to come out this Christmas. It's probably going to be delayed till 2021 again. And if that's the case, I think they have to come to terms with something like this type of thing, where they have a limited release in theaters and also on streaming platforms as well, in order to get the most bang for their buck. As you know, theaters are not all open. The whole Regal theater, all the Regal theaters are closed. Cinema World's closed. Over 650 theaters just closed because they're not having new movies to watch in them. And so I think Wonder Woman 1984 may be the next Warner Brothers project that they're going to think about, whether they're going to be like Tenet and just try to release it in theaters, unsuccessfully at best, but or try to do this model here. And I'm on the side, quite honestly, I'm on the side of direct to streaming at this point. I think any delays to this would delay everything else down the line. Like, this is the head, this is the front, right? And once you push this back, everything else gets pushed back. I think the Suicide Squad would get pushed back, and all those other delays that have already been delayed would get pushed back further. As all these studios are struggling to find dates for these things. It's overcrowded. It's not just Warner Brothers films out there. There's some Disney films out there. There's other, like Lionsgate. There's Universal Studios. There's so many other studios trying to put out movies in theaters, and so they're struggling to find calendar spots for these movies. So the more you delay it, the more it gets pushed back, the more everything else gets pushed back. And so, like, at this point, I'm like on the side of just release it to streaming. Cut your losses, put this to streaming, put the Suicide Squad to streaming. We're going to get Zack Snyder's next year. And I think that would maybe work out. And then they can build up whatever, get the vaccine or however it will take to get the theater goers back to the theaters, confident to go back in theaters, have the studios confident to put movies back in the theaters as well, and theater owners able to accommodate without having so much restrictions if there's a vaccine. And so by that time, hopefully it'll be okay for the other Warner Brother productions to release as well. And and honestly, I want to see, like, you and I, we want to see these things in movies, but in terms of strategies and business plans and not delaying the other projects further, I'm sorry, Patty, I think the direct to streaming may be the way to go, at least half. So if you really want to watch it in theaters, you can go and watch it in theaters, but you also have the option for getting on streaming as well. Now, I mentioned that James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is coming out next year. So far, it has not been delayed. It's still in August of 2021, which is fantastic if they keep that date, and depends on Wonder Woman 1984 as well. But there is another Suicide Squad, right? There's another Suicide Squad in the vaults right now, and I think it would be pretty smart if Warner Brothers actually kind of looked at that and said, maybe we can make a little bit of money or have a partnership with Warner Max and release it on HBO Max just to drum up a little bit more business, right? But how is that go? How different is the Ayer cut from the actual Suicide Squad movie that came out in 2016? So this tweet came out today, and it says that David Ayer Movies is the novelization of Suicide Squad, the closest thing to your original cut of the film. Hashtag release the Ayer cut. And, David Ayer says yes. So if you want to know how different it is from one Suicide Squad to the next, in terms of the theatrical and David Ayer's version, I would say read the novelization. The novelization of Suicide Squad is probably closest to the original cut of the film. Now, I know the author had changed a bunch of things, but she was writing in terms of what she got from the original script, and then she kind of changed a few things towards the end in terms for the movie that came out. So in the beginning, you do see, or you do read about June Moon's journey to getting into the caves and stuff like that. That little adventure, there's a little bit more there. So if you want to check out the novelization, I think you should check that out if you're really interested. I might actually do an editorial about the Ayer cut, like all the different changes and different differences between the theatrical and the Ayer cut. Just a cool little video just to see if I can research and put it all in one video for anybody to see. So be on the lookout for that. But like I said, this is in the vault right now. I mean, like David Ayer said, there's not much more money to really edit this thing, right? There's just a few CGI things that needs to be done to the film, and they could just present it on HBO Max. And I think if HBO Max or Warner Media is smart, and I think they are, I don't know if they're waiting for the Snyder Cut first, or they're going to actually do this. At one point, I heard it was going to happen, and then nothing happened. So I don't know. I mean, I would say, my God, like, just put a little few millions, right? It's probably going to take a few millions. Work that Suicide Squad cut, put it out on HBO Max, gain some more subscribers, and just make a little bit more money in the meantime, while all these other movies are being delayed, right? I mean, it's the safest because you don't have to shoot anything. It's already shot. Everything's shot. It just needs, remote computers, remote studios in order to fix up the CGI or whatever David Ayer needs to do with that, and then just put it out and add extra content to the streaming service, along with the Schumacher cut as well. That's pretty much all filmed as well. So I think, hopefully Jason Kilar and they're all looking into the vault now that they got a Snyder cut out, now that it seems like it's a pretty, a lot more restrictions, a lot more money in order to get these, behind the scenes and shoots and reshoots. And it becomes a lot more dangerous because of the COVID situation. Like, just Jurassic World is now on delayed again for 2 weeks because of some COVID as well. So why not? Just open that vault, see what you got in there, throw it on HBO Max, get through that licensing issue. I don't know what is the problem, and I'm thinking there's a lot more paperwork involved in how we're simply talking about it, but I hope there's a process for that, and there are in the process of that, so to get more content over on HBO Max, especially during this time. Speaking about cuts, we have to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Additional photography. Now, yesterday, we kind of had that Fabian Wagner post, and people were wondering if that was Zack Snyder's Justice League. We even went through IMDb and things, and so on and so forth. And there was a lot of different people saying, yes, that is. And there's on the other side that said, no, that's not. So I think Garza said that's definitely not, and I'm pretty sure he's probably talking to Fabian Wagner. And then also, Dave said it's not. Mick said it was yes, and all these different people we were all getting confused whether it was or not. But this post came out, and this was actually on Vero. Deborah Snyder herself took a picture of her and Zack amongst this crew right here. She said this: so thrilled to be working with the kind and talented Matthias, and I'm not going to even want to pronounce that name. I have no idea. A gifted actor and director. Army of the Dead prequel, Highland Park, Los Angeles, California. And so that was yesterday, or that was today, that was posted out, and it's probably something on the night before, but that's where they are right now. They're in Highland Park, Los Angeles, California, and it says right there, Army of the Dead prequel, which is probably the animated or the live action. So that's where they were. So that means that Fabian Wagner definitely wasn't on Zack Snyder's Justice League doing that, because Zack Snyder would have been there. So that pretty much put an end to that, including Ohio Davey, Amateur Watcher, one of the TPZs said that, 100% not Justice League. And how he knew that? Well, he actually asked Zack himself. Zack probably told him, nope, that's not Justice League. But But we can get a little excited because he put this out. The timeline is going to be lit in a few weeks. That's pretty exciting. And then, as we go through the conversation, it's actually down to exactly 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, now he didn't explicitly say that it's going to be additional photography, but since the Hollywood Reporter had said that additional photography was going to be done in October. This is October. 2 weeks from now is still October. And so what I'm guessing, and I'm just really guessing at this point, that Zack Snyder probably show us he's on set to do additional photography for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I'm really curious to see who is going to be there with him and what scenes are they going to shoot. So that's what I'm expecting at the least, at the minimal, that there will be like at least a picture or something that goes on Vero. I mean, I could be thinking they could have a clip as well, but, I don't want to think that far ahead. All I know is that the Hollywood Reporter had reported there is additional photography this month. Zack Snyder, Justice League, is going to have additional photography as reported by Zack Snyder himself. And now, one of the TPZs are saying that in 2 weeks, there's going to be something cool that's going to light up the timeline on Twitter. And, just to remind you that every time the TPZ, Team Pro Zack, these group of individuals have a Zoom with, the Zack Snyder himself, something incredible comes after that. This is them planning. So every time this happens, something incredible happens after that, maybe associated with the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, things like that, or something amazing that Zack Snyder wanted to share with them and get them ready, get us all hyped up for what's to come. And so in 2 weeks, we're going to get something amazing for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like I said, if you love this daily dose of DC content, of shows, movies, and games, please click the like button. Subscribe. Get us to 15,000 subscribers for a random prize drawing for some incredible DC merchandise that I've already ordered on Amazon, and some of my Ping Pong Flix merchandise as well. Yes, so hit the notification bell, keep that hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time. Bye.